Welcome everybody. Let's talk a little bit about what is going on with Diablo 4 Season 3. What is Diablo 4? What are the developers thinking? What is going on with these guys? All right, so first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the head of Diablo's the Diablo gaming software division is Rod Ferguson. Now, Rod Ferguson is a well-known character in the software world. He's been the death of a lot of software out there. I mean, he was involved in the Microsoft Train Simulator back in 2001. He was part of the Bloodwake in 2002. He was part of Half-Life and Counter-Strike for 2003. He was the main man for Gears of War from 2006, then Unreal Tournament in 2007, then Gears of War 2 in 2008. Then what, Lost Planet 2 in 2010, Infinity Blade in 2010, Bulletstorm in 2011, Gears of War Judgment in 2013. I mean, Bioshock Infinite in 2013, Gears of War 4 in 2016, Gears 5 in 2019, and now we have him in Diablo 4. He was also involved in Diablo 2 Resurrected in 2021. This guy is a killer of games. In my opinion, he's just been the killer of games. I don't know what all and what good he's done for any of those games that I just mentioned. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, but I just think he was a really poor choice to bring in to be in charge of Diablo 4. But you get what you get. Now let's talk about, season 3 and expectations and what we got. Okay, so at TwitchCon, Blizzard came on the stage two different times to talk about the gauntlet and leaderboards for Diablo 4. All right, they bragged about it. This was the big thing. This is what they were pushing. Oh, and it was because us, the players, were asking for it. Well, guess what? Season 3 got released, and there was absolutely no leaderboard, no gauntlet, and we were told, oh, it's going to be delayed for probably about 30 days. Okay, well then, just recently, just within maybe a week, Rod Ferguson came out and said February 13th. We're going to see it on February 13th. Okay, then a couple days after that, a few other Blizzard employees, maybe employees that have been laid off, because recently Microsoft, who owns Blizzard, is doing a big layoff there, but they came out and said they probably aren't going to make the February 13th date. So it makes you wonder, why do you go on TwitchCon on stage two different occasions and talk about the gauntlet and leaderboard, and you can't even hit that one thing? This is the one carrot you dangled in front of us, and you can't even hit it. So that's a bit concerning. All right, really is a bit concerning, but not surprising if you know Rod Ferguson and his background and what he's done with the past games that he's been involved with. There were a lot of issues with those games. Anyway, let's get off of Rod Ferguson now. All right, let's talk about some other issues going on with the game. Okay, so the game came out with originally season 3 started with the vaults. Okay, and you had to have these warding stones to I guess you have to have them in the end to open up chest. All right, and you can assign as many warding stones as you want to the vault, but it's really stupid. It has zero effect on the dungeon. All you have to have is 15 of those stones left, those wardings left, sometimes wardings at the end, to open up all the cases. I think one case takes 4, another case takes, it's just 10, and another one takes 1. So you got to have 15 of those in order to progress. All right. seems kind of silly then why we're, and they really, like I said, they don't make it like if you assign 100, if you assign 20, it doesn't make any difference as long as you have 15 at the end. You know, some people were stating that they scale the difficulty of the dungeon. No, they don't. They do absolutely nothing. They do nothing, you know. So I don't really understand what Blizzard was thinking, and it really does feel like they threw it together within just days just to get it done and over with. They also came out with this new event, the Lunar Awakening, which you go and you find these shrines that are throughout the map, and you go and you do them, and you get a buff that is supposed to increase your XP. You'll see it marked with these little purple star right there. There's another one. Okay, you'll get a buff that's supposed to increase your XP by quite a bit, by 10%, and the buff lasts what, 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds at the most. So what's the point of that? It has no purpose, and it's really the biggest waste of time ever. And you can see they've got it spread all over the place. And then when you get that, you go over here to this new vendor that's gonna give you some really crappy rewards, and it is what it is. There you go. You got Darrell right there, big old picture of Darrell, which we're gonna get to some of this stuff here we're gonna talk about. But you go to this guy over here, and you got this new vendor here, and he's got all of these things. Which, why? You know, why? I don't understand. Why do you want any of it? It's all cosmetic stuff. I mean, it just, no sense. So that's what they're doing. And also in season 3, the other thing they're doing is they're just throwing us tons and tons of gold. You're going to get gold everywhere, man. I mean, apparently Blizzard believes that that's a good reward, but the gold is used for what in this game? I mean, I'll just show you. That's how much gold I have. Tell me I need more gold. You know, I mean, come on. Why do I need more gold? There's nothing to use the gold for now. It's like, why are you giving me all this gold? The other thing that I want to talk about, my biggest pet peeve with, and not just season 3, but all of Blizzard, Diablo 4, is this. Why can you not give us more bag space? You know, instead you gave us all this stash space. You've put this stash boxes everywhere now. And what we're asking for is this bag space. So I don't have to leave a nightmare dungeon and come back here to sell my items or to break my items because I ran out of bag space. I mean, this is ridiculous. I am constantly emptying this and breaking these, and just, you cannot finish a dungeon without doing it. It's just ridiculous that they won't give us more space here. We've got the tab space here that you could add it. And if you don't want to do any of that, Blizzard, then just give us an item, an icon here, a button here that will do the same thing as this guy, and let us break this piece instead of me coming here to do this. Okay, to break it, let me break it on the fly. It would be so simple. The other thing that they did in season 3 that a lot of people are starting to notice is in your gear you can add, and it's always been this way, in your gear you can add gem sockets, right? To any piece you can add a gem sockets to it, any piece you want, right? However, the change that's affecting people right now is this. This has always been the same from the beginning of Diablo 4. A mysterious prism most often found in very, very large bodies, such as world bosses. Okay, that's always been the same. It's always said the same thing. But in the past seasons, you could get these by not killing just the world bosses, but also Legion events might drop some, Darrell might drop some. Lord Zir might drop some. Glacier, the Glacier boss might drop some. Grigori might drop some. Varshan might drop some. Now it's those guys, just those bosses don't drop them at all. I mean, maybe if they do, very, very rarely. Darrell, every now and then. It seems to be like maybe 20%, 25% of the time he's dropping them now. That's changed. It used to be every time, nearly. So this is becoming harder and harder to get. And if you're going to stick to what it says, world bosses, like they're trying to say, well, keep in mind that the world boss is not always active. The world boss takes up to it's active and then a 3-hour break. Okay, so farming to get these. Okay, so I ran the world boss. I've ran him mucho times, a lot. The lowest I've ever gotten was 2. The lowest I ever got of these was 2. All right, well, that does 1 item. All right, the most I ever got was 5. Okay, so every 3 hours, that world boss, you're farming these. That's crazy. That's just crazy the way it takes to get those. They're kind of forcing you to wait. And it seems to be the new trend with Blizzard is to try to get you to spend as much time in the game as possible by making you do stupid stuff. Go farm this to go do this. Go farm this to go do this. That's true in most of this type of games that you have to do farming and grinding, but not just for the fact of to keep you in the game. I mean, you can go to almost any game. You know, Call of Duty, you got to farm to get that gun. The Division 2, you had to farm to get that good gear. But it wasn't let's go do it 1,000 times to get that gear, which seems to be in Diablo. Also, there were no time waits like the boss here. The world boss is every 3 hours. Well, I haven't seen that in too many other games, although it may very well be there. I haven't seen it, and I haven't had issues with it, not in PoE or any of those. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is Diablo. Blizzard really needs to really rethink what they're doing. And the reason being is, I'm going to show you here if we can bring it up, is their players are leaving in hordes. I mean, they're leaving like crazy. And you can really see that here. Okay, so let's go and check that out real quick. All right, so here's Path of Exile right now. You can see it. Its viewership is at what? 15.2K viewers right now. 15.2K viewers, okay? So let's go and let's do that same thing on Diablo 4. Oh, Diablo 4 is down to 4.8K viewers. I mean, holy cow. How can it even be, you know, it is down to 4.8K viewers. That's a big sign. That really tells you a lot that people are not happy with what they're getting. So, you know, I just want to end this whole video with, I am very dissatisfied with season 3. I usually create multiple characters on every season. I will not be doing that with this season. I actually picked a sorcerer because it's the only class I have not played so far in Diablo, and it's so squishy this season. They've really nerfed the hell out of it. I mean, I'm able to do what I need to do because I know Diablo 4 well enough that I'm able to come up with strategies and builds that are going to work. But most people are really, really complaining about the sorcerer in season 3. The classes that are really, if you really want to go far in season 3 and you want to do it easily, the classes that seem to be doing that are the barbarian, which again, season 1, season 2, barbarian ruled. It's ruling again this season, and the druid. The druid is just pounding it. I mean, geez, they're just like flying through main bosses. Darrell, I think I've seen him druid drop a Darrell in less than 10 seconds. So I mean, There's some classes that you can play and you can get to the end content pretty easily. And there's some classes that you can play and you're going to suffer. Necro, Sorcerer, you're going to suffer. All right. So I think Blizzard needs to rethink what they're going to do with Season 4. They better start looking at maybe some big changes. And I don't think we're going to see it. And I think because Rod Ferguson, again, likes to follow a specific path. And even when that path doesn't work, what he does is he tries to tweak the path, the same path, he tries to tweak it and make it work. And sometimes you just got to say enough and walk away. And, you know, I don't think we're going to see that. And I think Season 4 is going to be interesting if they continue to go the same path. But anyway, that is my take on Diablo 4. I really am not satisfied with Season 3. Very disappointed. And I think that most people are feeling that same way. So Blizzard, what are you doing? Wake up. Got to start listening to your players. I know you say you are, but I don't really believe you're listening as closely as you need to.